Ahoy there, Boozeketeers. How's everybody doing tonight? Good, I hope. As you can tell, I'm in a piratey mood because I was, well, because I'm piratey. Could be the rum, could be the sea, could be the smell of the sea, could be the letter C, could be a C note. You never know. Could be seabirds. Could be all kinds of different things. I don't know. I've been drinking rum, so it's all kind of a blur. But hey, it's Tuesday night, and that's Cocktales with Tiki King night. And I'm here, and I'm glad you're here too, because we're all here together now, just as it should be. As it should be, Boozeketeers, sailors, you seafaring boozers. So, how have you all been? How's everything been going with you peoples? I'll tell you, it's been going good with me. Things have been fine. We did had a couple of fun episodes out on the road. I don't know if you watched the last episode when we found out that there may be booze in space, but it's not readily available without waiting in a long line. So that's one of the things I'm gonna have to say. I'm gonna have to say that the future seems like you gotta wait a long time to get your booze. Could have had blue milk, but that just didn't seem like the thing to do. But hey, so earlier, before the show, before this all started, I was watching a show about pirates, watching a piratey television show to get in the mood, to be in the mood that I was already in, apparently. And they were talking about treasure. They were hunting for treasure, and I realized there's treasure to be found for you Boozeketeers, for those in the know. There's treasure. Oh, here's a look. There's a right here. The wicked witch. There's a treasure chest, and what's it filled with? Ah, riches of all kinds. Look at that. Ah, yeah. And you know what? You don't have to just gawk at these riches. You could get them yourself. I had a bunch so this weekend I'll be in Payson, but then in a couple weekends we'll be in Flagstaff, and I happen to have this treasure with me, so you can come and get some of your own. Yeah, riches and stuff and whatnot and things. There's some down there. Yeah, and if you know what, and I know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, but Tiki King, I'm not going to be in Flagstaff. To which I say, you should. But if I know if you can't, but if I know if you can't, which is, I'm not sure. Do I know if you got? I don't know. I need to put a new. We need a new magnet. I know. It's like constant battle. It's do you people know how hard it is to be Tiki King? No, how hard it is to beat Tiki King. Yeah, you need a long stick because I'm tall. I was digressing about something. Oh, treasure! If you were like me, then you already have it. But if you don't, and you're not, and you aren't going to be in Flagstaff, go online to tikiking.com and go to the online store, and there's a whole section there. You can buy yourself some nice piratey bracelets, and do it. I'm sure I'm not even wearing mine. Some salesman I can put these on. That's right. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm fashionable and drunk. So it's a win-win for me. So what are we doing tonight? What is happening? What's happening, Boozeketeers? I'll tell you what's happening. If you maybe went and did the spoilers, you would know we're doing the outrigger, and I'm gonna start drinking it, and then we'll talk about it, and then drink some more. How about that? How about it, Boozeketeers? What do you think? You guys got something better to do? Searching for piratey stuff on my page. There's doors everywhere. It's like a labyrinth back here. So what do we need, Boozeketeers? What are we doing? We're drinking the outrigger tonight, which calls for equipment. Calls for this fine shaker, which you can get if you don't have a shaker of your own. Go see Ivy at the Boozeketeer. She will set you up. The Boozeketeer is right here in Salt Lake City, and I'm sure the address will pop up there in the comments at some point. But yeah, if you need bar accoutrements or everything but the booze, go to the Boozeketeer to get it. So, shaker half filled with ice. To that, we're going to need to add some gold rum. Oh, I got dark rum. I got high proof. I got the Radiant Nephew. 120. Now this calls for a light gold rum. All right. Well. What else? White Curacao, which is actually orange, but they call it white because it's not blue. So you put that in your pipe. What else do we need? We need apricot brandy. So Then we need some lime juice. That's that. But I don't seem to have a bottle of gold rum, which is the main ingredient. What do you do? What do you do about that? I'll tell you what you do. You search no further than your skeletal monkey friend, who happens to be guarding some miniature bottles of gold rum. How convenient is that? That's like, it's almost as if I put them there before the show. Yeah. So, we need to put 2 ounces gold rum. 1 1/2, 1, 2, 3/4. I don't know what this measure is. It doesn't say. I'm going to go with that being an ounce. Which should be, see, an average airliner is 1 1/2 ounces. I think. I don't know. Does anybody out there know how to convert the metric system? Because what would 50 milliliters be in ounces? And I know you're going to say, it's not because it's metric system. I understand that part. But if we have to convert for the sake of conversion, what's the conversion rate of 50 milliliters? I don't want to do it wrong, that's the thing. If that's not enough, I need to put in more. Seems to be though. 2 of those, 2 ounces. I'm going to go with it. Alrighty, so we got our 2 ounces of gold rum. 1/2 ounce of white curacao. Right in there. It's going to be good. How do I know? I have faith. I have faith in the. Oops, I forget. So I might need to reference that quickly. Then we need 1/2 ounce of apricot brandy. 1/2 ounce enough? Too much. And 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, which I just happen to have in yonder Anchor Hucking measuring cup. Which I believe you can get these at the Boozeketeer too, although I didn't get this one there. There we go. Let's give that a shake, shall we? We need a strainer also, courtesy of the Boozeketeer. Strain your heart's delight. It's Wonder Bar. And then garnish. Oh, I don't have a lime slice. I'm gonna throw a Luxardo in there if I have one, because I'm like that. I'm a big spender. If I can open them. Sweet. That looks suspect. Get in there. I need a Luxardo cherry picker. Now we wait. Just kidding, I'm gonna drink it. It's not bad, a little sour. But you know, it's a sour drink. It's a, so basically the outrigger, there's a couple of, depending on how you look where, you may find different recipes. There's the one on the cocktail, Tiki King cocktail database, which is the one that I just made. But there's a bunch of them. There's so Peach Bum Berry, he's a mixologist who has written several books on cocktails. He revives old recipes. He goes out looking for stuff. Apparently he made one that was the outrigger, which was very similar, but was not this one. In his book it says that he invented it when he was looking for a rum alternative to the sidecar, which I can see that, because we did the sidecars a while back, and it was with what was that stuff? What was it? Not brandy. What's the better one? What's the one above brandy? Stuff, you know. But we found that the alcohol used in the sidecar had a little too much character, and caused this. It didn't play well. They were fighting in the glass. It was like, and you were like trying to drink it, and you're on my thumb. So I could see where someone would be looking for an alternative to the sidecar, because Yeah, the sidecar, I'm sure it's got its audience, but it's not me. So, but here's the thing. Rum, curacao, brandy, lime juice, that's almost like a sweet and sour mix because you get a little sweet, a little sour, which would almost make this a daiquiri. Ah, yeah, I'm talking to you, Mr. Hemingway. But it's in that class, there's a whole class of sour drinks, and depending on what kind of booze you put in them, it changes the name. But here's the thing. Beach Bum Berry invented an outrigger that's very similar to this, based on the sidecar recipe, changing the booze to rum. But here's the thing. I think I got my recipe out of the old Mr. Boston, which I'm gonna take a look because I happen to have 3 versions of the old Mr. Boston. Is there an issue?
No.
Oh. Producer Maggie's back there. She's climbing around like a spider monkey in the rigging of the ship. And I was looking for booze or bananas or something. I'm not sure what's going on up there. She was just peering through the railings like a prisoner. I thought she was going to like try and rope me or throw a bone at me or something. I don't know what's happening. Outrigger. Let's see if we can find it in this one. This is what are we looking at? This is the 1967 old Mr. Boston. Oh, orange. Oriental. Orange Smart. Palmer. Pen, orange. Well, it's not in this one. That's the 67. Let's see what else. Let's go a little further up here. What's this one? I think this is a 67 as well. Yeah, because this one actually, I know this is a 67 because it says, "To Mother, Christmas, 1967 from my mom and her sister." That was my grandma, because she would have been a Boozeketeer had she been around, but then I wouldn't have been on the internet. I would have been in a cardboard box with a few cut out of the front, and I would have been like 10. And they would have been saying, "Don't drink so much, you're only 10. Let's see here. I know it's in here. I know it's in here because I saw it. Oh. Chelsea. Punches. Is there one that's like just... Not in this one. What year is this? That's the 1974. So 67 through 74, they're not talking about it. So I'm not sure what the... I'm not sure. I don't know where I got mine. I got it somewhere. I must have, and it's not Beach Bum Berry's recipe. So I got it somewhere. But where that is, who knows? I don't know. It's not there. It's not in New York. Maybe it wasn't invented in New York. Maybe it's not. Maybe I don't think I would have made it up. This is not a drink that I would have made up because it's not far enough from the mainstream. But that's okay. But I digress because here's the deal. If you're going to make a cocktail and you decide to look it up, there's going to be like hundreds of variations of recipes. And the weird thing is that so with cocktails, you start realizing that there's only a few of them, and then there's a few cocktails out there, and then they just have things added or taken away, and it becomes a different cocktail. There's like all sorts of stuff. I saw an ad. What was that ad for? Was it Jim Beam or Jack Daniels? And I probably shouldn't mention brand names. I get in trouble on YouTube. It was for some Tennessee bourbon mixed with ginger ale and lime, and they called it something, and I was like, that's... First of all, you make it with rum, it's a dark and stormy. You make it with vodka, it's a Moscow Mule. You make it with Jameson, and it's called an Irish Mule for some reason. I don't know the mule part. But there's all sorts of these versions of the brandy and ginger ale. I mean, there's like all these versions that are brandy or are a base spirit and ginger ale and lime juice. And, you know, is that really like 6, 7 different drinks? I don't know. They all taste slightly different, but they're all the same. You know, it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. But it's craziness you can manage if you know how to stick it in your brain right. Which is that you can think of it that way, where you go, okay, when it's with, you know, rum, it's dark and stormy. When it's with vodka, it's a Moscow Mule. And it's the same thing, you're realizing it's all the same ingredients except a different base. And then people think, they're like, whoa, my God, encyclopedic knowledge of booze. And then you get an award, and they give you a special hat and a ribbon that says drunken. So, but all I'm getting at is that there's a lot of recipes out there, and there's a lot of them on my website. And if you see that and you think, you can always look it up and probably find a whole bunch of variations of different ones, which will just add to your boozing experience. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Is it about something else? No. Okay. I have to check with producer Maggie from time to time because I could just be spouting nonsense, which I am spouting nonsense. Okay, that's good. See, I can check on these things. So, I already covered that last week's episode. No booze in space. I have a note that says that on the note thing. So, hey, Boozeketeers, by the way. There was a Boozeketeer got their pin last weekend in San Diego, in Vista. And if you see me out in the wild, you say, hey, I'm a Boozeketeer, give me a pin. If I have one, I give it to you. I'll stick it right on you. Or give it to you and you can put it on yourself. Or whatever you do, I don't care. But, and hey, some of you may have noticed, so, let's not digress. I'm not going to digress. Let's tangent. How about that? So I'm very excited. Speaking of booze, wow, how strange that would come up. I'm very excited because if you're going to be in Flagstaff, there's a very slim possibility you may be able to try some fantastic stuff. But more than likely, we'll drink it all in the hotel the night before and be horrendously hungover the next day. But if that doesn't happen, come see me and say that you're Lithuanian or that you know a Lithuanian, something like that, and you may get to sample some krupnikas. Krupnikas. Svetkara. That's what I say. Which this is, basically, it's a, you take some really strong neutral grain spirit and you very carefully boil in a bunch of other stuff. And this one is primarily honey and neutral grain spirit, but it's honey and it's all kinds of spices. There's crazy stuff and fruit rinds and beans and all kinds of things. There was a hot dog in there. I don't know. It's like throwing everything. I'm like, open the fridge, throw it in the pot. So I boiled all that stuff up and then bottled it, krupnikas, and it came out at 95 proof, which is, if you're a betting man, you'll know where that extra proof went. Because if you buy krupnikas on the open market, one, you're not going to find it, and if you do, it's probably only going to be 70 proof. But this, oh wow, I disturbed it. So the crazy thing is, so I put up a couple bottles of this, and it does this weird thing, which it forms a cloud. I mean, it's almost like it's like a snow globe in there. It's crazy. And some people they let it settle and they only drink the clear stuff. Other people, they're like me, shake it up, drink a shot, good stuff, because that's all the good. There's fruit pectins and tiny like microscopic bits of wax that were in the honey and all kinds of. It's probably good for you. That's like vitamins and minerals in there. You can live on this stuff for a short time. But krupnikas, Tiki King endorsed, especially because I made it. So why wouldn't I? Oh, my drink's empty. How could I remedy that? What shall we do? Well, for those of you who weren't paying attention, tonight we're drinking the Outrigger, which you could go back and watch the show again. And then what's in it? Well, shaker half filled with ice. We already did this earlier, so I'm just going to dump a whole bottle of rum in there. How about that? There you go, monkey. Have fun. Half an ounce white curacao, which, like I said, is orange because it's not blue, and if it's not blue, it's orange, and you call it white. That's, I think if you look in the Pantone charts, it's the same thing, which is why I'm not a web designer full time. I might have put a little extra in there because I was counting. Ding dong, ding ding. So we have the white curacao, half ounce of the apricot brandy. And now all these things, white curacao, apricot brandy, what do we got on this one? This one clocking in at 60 proof, which is decent for apricot brandy. When you're out booze shopping, when you got your cart, when you're going through throwing stuff in willy-nilly, going, hey, I'll get some of that. I'll get some of that. Hey, look, it's vanilla. Look, that's grapefruit flavor. You know, okay, why not? I applaud you. throw it in the cart, man. But I'm going to tell you something. Keep your eyes peeled, because something can happen sometimes. As you go, apricot brandy, what the heck? I used to drink that as a punk rocker. I'd chug down a bottle and get on the bus. But here's the thing. This one, like I said, 60 proof. But I've had apricot brandy that was as low as like 30 proof. And you drink a whole bottle of that, there's only one bus you're going to be on. You're driving the porcelain bus later. I'll tell you. So there we go. Give it a good shake. Strain it into a cocktail glass using your official Boozeketeer's strainer, available only at the Boozeketeer. Tell Ivy, say, I don't want one of those cheap ones. I want Boozeketeer approved. She'll set you right. Is she watching? Is Ivy on? No? She's going to regret it because we're name dropping her like crazy. But speaking of name dropping, so Ivy has invited us to come to a live show at the Boozeketeer. Which, here's the thing. I realized it's always a live show. It's always a live show. It's a live show. We're live. I'm alive right now, and so are you guys, I'm assuming. For now. But no. But the better live part is that we're going to invite any one of you, and you bring a friend who's not unruly, and come on down to the Boozeketeer. And we're going to film an episode in front of an entire live studio audience. Which may be like 3 of us, but you know, what the heck. Well, including maybe with me and producer Maggie. But no, come on down. Well, we're going to figure it out. And we were thinking of possibly, we got, right before going to Flagstaff, so 2, not this weekend. Would it be next weekend? No. Yeah. Is that not enough time to plan? I don't know. We'll figure it out. But we're thinking about doing that, and anyone who's in the Salt Lake City area should come on down, and we'll give you as much notice as possible. And we'd like to fill that place up with screaming Boozeketeers who will be quiet when the time is right to make a drink, so they can tell people about it. And your face will be then used in media and for advertising purposes, and could also be used in a digital format and manipulated to say whatever we feel is right. By watching, you are approving of this. So yeah, so we're thinking about doing that. She's invited us to do it. I think it's a good idea. You think it's a good idea. You want to be there. You're saying, Tiki King, how can I do it? Well, easy. I'll let everybody know. And then you just come on down. And so probably it'll be the same thing. We're going to be filming. It'll be 9 o'clock Salt Lake City time. So we'll need you there by like 8:30, so you can all settle down, get your, we'll you come in the door, you sign the release, we'll hand you a cup of booze or something. Cup of water, I don't know, decent cup full of sand, whatever, depends if I'm getting moved. Yeah, so we'll figure it out. Anyway, just want to throw that out there so that it's on your mind. On your mind. Think about it. But so yeah, so there's that. And I was before I digress, so the Crypticos, like I said, I put that up myself. It's going to be good drinking here shortly. That's one of those things that, as Boozeketeers, you should try out, is making your own stuff. And there's a lot of one. An easy one to start with is Kahlua, because basically you take a high-strength rum and throw some vanilla and coffee beans in there and stick it in the dark for a while. It's kind of like me. Just throw some rum and coffee and stuff and put me in a dark place. I don't know, but you can. That's the thing is, you can make all kinds of crazy stuff. You don't have to be satisfied with the stuff that comes off the shelf. You can go down there, like this is, like I said, I started with 180 proof neutral grain spirits, and then cut that in half by way of adding ingredients, which drops down to 95 proof. Depending on what you're using, I would say if you can find, you're probably going to want to find a minimum of like a 151 as your base, which you can get in rum. You can probably find some pretty high strength moonshine that tops out at 160. So there might be some 180. You can try to give it a look. Give it a look-see. Because you're going to be watering it down. And that's the thing about ABV, is that you have to do a little math and figure out what you're going to end up with. And if it matters to you, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. You're like, I don't know, I'm going to put stuff in my booze and then drink it later. Which is kind of the point, I suppose. So, but as Boozeketeers, I encourage you to go out and make some of your own. And if you don't know how, send me a message. I'll tell you. I can tell you how to make cryptocosts. It's a little involved and takes a little while to do, but the end product has got this. So this has got to sit. I bottled this on 2 days ago, and it has to sit for 2 weeks minimum before you can drink it. Well, you can drink it anytime, but it's going to be a little harsh before that. So it's got to sit for at least 2 weeks, whilst everything sort of does its magic there, and then after 2 weeks, drink up. So, speaking of earlier than today, back somewhere around 1996, I decided I want to make my own spiced rum, so I did. And I started with 151, and I watered it down to get it down to about 90 proof. Not watered down, but I added extra stuff. But yeah, so I got this. So I made this spiced rum, and it had all kinds of crazy stuff. It had allspice berries and Chinese 5-spice and cinnamon sticks and orange rinds, and it had all this stuff in there, and it was all actually in the bottle. Star anise and cloves and all this. The bottom, like this much of it, was filled with bits. There was like all this stuff down there, and we actually made. I made like 4 bottles of it, and one we drank at the luau, which was I know Otto's not watching the show, but Otto got to have some. It was there was a thing where if you were in the know, I'd give you a gold coin, and you would trade the gold coin at the bar, and the bartender would nod and give you a shot of the spiced rum. But that was the only way you could get it at the time. But then the other 3 bottles I gave to some of the pirates, and we drank them as it would be. So flash forward 10 years or so, 96, 2006. So it would have been after that. So 6, so 50. So it was actually probably 15 years later. I was at Boozeketeer Aaron's house, and sitting around, and we were having some drinks and stuff. And I said, I'm in a feisty mood. I need something that's just, I want something that when I drink it, I'm gonna shake. Like it's gonna be like I'll drink it, and everything will seem fine at first, and then it'll just be like, oh, and it'll like course through my veins, and then erupt into my skull. And he said, I get just the thing. So he went and got a bottle, poured me a shot, and I drank it, and then I was like, and it was fantastic. And I said, what is that? What is that? And he said, I don't know, you made it. And then it hit me that that was that bottle of spiced rum that was supposed to be consumed within 3 months, according to the recipe that I had found. But then 15 years later, I drank it and drank the rest of it because it was still there. And here I am. And now it's however many years that was later on. So 10 years later, still alive. Still alive. But so that's one of the things. As long as you sterilize your equipment, make sure you use clean bottles, all that sort of stuff. This stuff has an indefinite shelf life. It will get kind of cranky after a while. I'd say that generally alcohol doesn't go bad, but it gets kind of skanky. It oxidizes and loses some of its character and flavor, and so yeah, things like we were talking about vermouth. People don't think about that. It's a white wine, How long would you keep a white wine before you drink it? People think, oh, it's vermouth, it's something else. And yeah, you can, I think I told the story of when I had the vermouth that was from the 60s. I didn't know it. But, once again, it's still alive, and that was like, 10 years ago. Yeah, so it doesn't go bad the way food goes bad, unless it's a cream liqueur or something super fruity based or cream based, things like that. Those will get funky and you don't want to drink it. But hard alcohol, like this, cryptocosts, you could put this in the tomb with the pharaohs, and the mummies would wake up and drink it like 1,000 years later. Because, well, no, they wouldn't, because the plastic would deteriorate, and then it'd evaporate down. And you'd have to use a stick, and that would not be kingly. So there you go. So that's that. That's the story of that. But on other news, have you gone to our websites? Have you gone to tikiking.com or tikiking.info or tikiking.com/booze? Go to the booze portal. Well, the reason I bring that up is because if you go to any of those places, you might find a tip jar Throw in a tip. Keep us tipsy. That's the way it goes. If you like the program, throw in a few coins. Which could explain why nobody's throwing in any coins. I hadn't thought about that. But go there, do things, look at the stuff, and yeah, you know, buy a tiki necklace for your nephew who likes tiki necklaces. Buy one for your aunt who says, "Why would you buy me this tiki necklace? But it's kind of cool." And then wears it to the office, where they say, "What is that? Some Greg Brady thing?" And they say, "No, they got it from Tiki King." And they say, "What is that?" And it goes on and on from there. And then pretty soon you're eating someone else's lunch out of the fridge, and you try to say, "No, it said Bill," but it actually said Phil. Can't stand that. But anyway, there you go. But I do want to say there is some good news. There is some good news tonight. This just in. Total Wine & More has Smith & Cross Navy Strength Rum, which was, we've been on a quest to find it. Because that is the key ingredient in the Angelada cocktail, which we drank a lot of Angelada at Trader Sam's. But I wanted to make it here on the bar, in a glass. Not actually on the bar. But it calls for Smith & Cross Navy Strength Rum, and it has been very difficult to find it, because it's been missing from my life. But now it's at Total Wine, so I'm thinking I might be able to pick some up here shortly. If you happen to have Total Wine in your neighborhood and you'll be seeing me shortly, pick up a bottle. I'll thank you for it, as the saying goes. What else? I think that's it. I ran out of stuff. Well, there you go, Boozeketeers. I hope you learned something. Jesus. We have to fix my feet. I hope you learned something tonight about things and stuff. Hopefully you'll go away from this episode going, yes, Tiki King was right about something. I hope you enjoyed the outrigger. If you made one, if you shook it up, did anyone shake along at home? If you did, let me know what you think. A little sour maybe? I don't know. Second one tasted pretty good to me. The third one's probably going to be awesome. That's how it goes here. The Wicked Wench. And I'm Tiki King, Reverend Dr. Tiki King. And this is the Wicked Wench. And that's producer Maggie, who you can't see. But she's over there twisting the levers and turning the knobs and turning on the smoke machine when needed. But till next time, Boozeketeers. Good night. And my drink is empty.